What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Booze Bros channel, and welcome back to East versus West. It's been a cool minute since we've done one of these podcasts. I'm your host, Anthony.
And I'm Eddie from Eddytainment.
You ready to be eddytained, man? Get ready to be eddytained. We are on here today to talk about what potentially 2021 holds for us, and it's kind of looking like you're going to see the light at the end of the road in 2021 so far.
It sure is, man. Vaccines are bringing the light.
Vaccines are bringing the light, and it's a lot of good stuff is happening right now. Numbers are going down, hospitals are becoming more clear, and it's looking pretty good, man. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about, of course, the West Coast side of things, and Eddie will talk about the East Coast side of things. And there's a new event that's happening on the West Coast that we can definitely compare now, because we both are going to have this event from now on top of Horror Nights, and that is Howl-O-Scream. It is
that's right.
Said to be coming to SeaWorld San Diego, here in California, and Eddie has it out there in, where are you at, Eddie?
So it's at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, but I'm in the DC metro area.
My freaking mind drew a blank. I knew the name, and it drew a blank. So all that and more to come.
It's like a 2.5 hour drive for me.
That's about the same for SeaWorld San Diego, but I'm gonna take the drive out there. So when you usually go out there, do you usually spend the night somewhere, or do you just like take a trip out and take a trip back?
So up to this point, I've taken a trip out and I've taken a trip back. So I just make the 2.5 hour drive back. But I plan to, because I've been doing a little bit more of like hotel reviews, stay at one of the hotels and maybe review it.
Oh, nice. There you go. So you're going to try to make it a little mini vacay.
Yeah, there's a resort out there. I don't know if you guys have it on the West Coast called Great Wolf Lodge.
Probably not.
So it's kind of like a ski cabin resort, because over here it snows and whatnot.
Right.
And they have like indoor water parks and stuff inside of the resort, and a bunch of like cool themed rooms.
Some good heated pools and all that fun stuff, huh? That sounds fun. You were recently just at the Universal Studios Orlando Resort. Stayed at, what was it, Cabana Bay?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't we catch up on what we've been doing?
Talk to us a little. Okay, talk to us a little bit about your Universal trip, man. Because I right now do not have the funds to make it out there, so I get to live my vacation through you. So
yeah, for sure. So overall, the vacation went extremely well. I enjoyed it greatly. It was a very short trip. I landed in Orlando at like 9:30 at night on Thursday. So really Thursday night wasn't much, but I was lucky enough that Michael from Hollow Thrills came through, picked me up, and we went out to a bar in downtown. And we checked out this one bar. Actually, I put pictures on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but I forgot the name of the actual bar, but it was like a year-round horror bar.
Nice.
So they had like Frankenstein and a bunch of other like.
It's the one that had all the masks on the wall, right?
Yeah, and they had like a bunch of like movie sets and stuff like that. So it was really cool, and they even had a speakeasy, or is it speakeasy? Like those little bars that you have to like have like a code for. I think it's speakeasy, right?
I don't think I've ever been to one of those.
I think they're called speakeasies. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But they had that as well that you could go inside and check out. It was really cool. If I would have known, honestly, if Michael would have given me a little bit of a better heads up that we were going to such a cool bar, I probably would have taken my camera and done a vlog on that too, because I was milking the trip. I think I did like 8 videos in 2 days. So really the only days that I was there was Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And Friday, we checked out Mardi Gras at Universal Studios. I met up with Zombie Chris, Losh, and I think that's it. Oh, and Michael. Michael was there too on Friday. We took the tour of the whole entire Mardi Gras and Universal Studios and ate some food. And then that night, we actually went to Sir Henry's Haunted Trail, which had a Valentine's Day haunt, which was super dope. And I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I've never actually done any of the haunts outside of haunt season. So it was really cool to go through a haunt when it's not haunt season. It was
right?
a whole new different experience. I think you've done it several times.
I've done a couple of Christmas ones,
Yeah.
which were really cool. Krampus themed with one of the ones out in Thousand Oaks, which was really fucking cool by Murder House Productions. And so yeah, seeing haunts outside of Halloween season is the best thing ever because you're getting your fix even after season's over.
Gosh darn text. Of course they would start coming through right now. But yeah, dude, it was a really good time. I don't know if you saw the video yet, but we
I did.
had
I watched yours. I haven't watched Losh's or Michael's yet, but I did watch yours.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Such
that was the first one that popped up in my my bell notification. So
I, I think I was the first one to post it.
I think you
Or no,
posted it like
actually,
last Saturday while you were on vacation.
yeah, I posted it while I was on vacation, and it was on Saturday. Actually, I think Losh may have beat me to the punch. But the cool thing about it was, regardless, and this isn't this. I honestly say this from a non-biased. I'm not promoting everybody's, even though I would love to promote everybody's. But all of us had a different take on the event, and as soon as you see it, Anthony, you'll see like Chris's is completely different than mine. Michael's is completely different than mine. Michael's has a scare count, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really cool idea. Losh's is a completely different perspective. So it was funny to see that we were all at the same place vlogging together, but all caught a different perspective. It's
So let me get this straight. Michael has taken my horror tour T-shirt idea. He's taken my try not to get scared challenge counter idea. What's next? I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
It's open game. It's everybody's thing. I didn't invent shit. I just thought
Yeah.
it looked cool on a T-shirt and try not to get scared challenge. But yeah, man, it looked like a fun time. I'm glad you got to do that. I'm glad you got to have some sort of a haunt fix. I know you got a brief tiny haunt season last year with the HHN light, as a lot of fans are calling it. But I think it's cool that you still got to, and it looked like an entire event. Look at like, how many mazes did it have, like 3 or 4?
Yeah, there was three, and then like a common area with like food and music and swag that you could buy. So
Right.
all in all, it was a pretty full and wholesome event. And shout out to Sir Henry's. They actually were great gentlemen and treated us amazingly. We had media, but part of the media, we still had to get our ticket. We just got the ability to film through all the houses with our lanyard,
Mm-hmm.
but you could only go through the houses one time. And the actual owner came through, saw that we were vlogging, saw that we were having a good time, and said, "Hey, I'm gonna escort you guys back through all three of the houses." And we were able to do them all over again without vlogging the second time around. So we did all three of them for a second time, and we were able to just experience it, which is something cool. I mean, in a lot of cases, I'm sure you know it, and anybody out there who does vlogging, sometimes you feel like you miss out a little bit on the experience when you're capturing it for
Right.
the vlog. And we were able to actually experience it twice right there, one time filming, one time not. And the actors were super like awesome. A lot of them actually commented on all of our videos, and thanked us for coming through, and they actually recognized us when we came through. So it was a really really cool experience through and through.
Man, Booze Bros are growing up, man. We used to all be
Yeah.
little children. Now we're like teenagers.
Yeah, and we
Um,
kept on saying though, like the Booze Bros have not had a reunion of more than four at a time.
yeah,
And
it's been a while. I think since like the last Orlando trip, I want to say, because Scott, Michael, Chris, Connor. Actually, yeah, Connor and Losh did a when Scott was down there. They did a
yeah,
little meetup.
but it's never been more than four. We've
Yeah,
never had more than four together at the same time, which
yeah,
is unfortunate, but I look forward to when we all meet up. That'll be cool.
yeah. That's gonna be filming galore. I can imagine. Um, Everyone else is gonna look good, and then mine's gonna look all shitty. That's usually how it
Nah,
works.
not even. We're all
Hey,
we're all just gonna be doing our thing.
I'm just
And
saying, as long as the sound sounds good, we're good.
yeah, you always got that crisp audio, and you got a good cameraman. Don't sleep on yourself. But just in case, just to plug everybody, in case people don't know who the Booze Bros are, the Boo Bros. I keep on saying.
Well, you're
Booze
on the
Bros.
channel, so you should be subscribed already.
I know, but the Boo Bros are a conglomerate of creators that came together. We have a group chat. We always kind of feed off of each other. It's myself, Anthony, Losh, SoCal, Zombie Chris, Connor Florida, Hallowed Thrills, Rob from
Howling Hour.
Con- Howling Hour,
Yeah.
and then am I missing anybody? Oh, the Hotline, John from the Hotline,
You
and I
missed the
believe that's
you missed the most important person,
who?
Sammy.
Oh, Sammy. But Sam, see, this is your fault. Whenever I say Sammy, you always say, "Oh, he's part of Nights of Horror." So I've kind of
No,
like,
because you said me from Nights of Horror. You didn't say Sammy though. Like if you would have said Nights of Horror in general, then that would have included me, Rob, and Sammy.
we definitely can't leave Sammy out. That guy's
Sammy's a legend, dude, and he's
yeah.
become a meme as of late in the chat. So yeah. He had to spit out his drink because he knows what I'm talking about. Inside jokes, they're great.
Yeah.
Um,
But
sounds
that
like you
was
had a
a
good time though, man. That's awesome. What about how's the Velocicoaster looking, man? What do we ready for soft openings already, or what?
So the Velocicoaster's ready for soft openings, but that's going to be a whole. And thanks, you're helping me really well with my promotion here because tomorrow I'm posting the video when we went to go check out the Velocicoaster, and we got rained out. Like I,
Oh,
I'm talking about like drenched. We
that's
were
gonna be a fun
posting on
vlog.
yeah, we were posting on Instagram. Like my camera was drenched. At one point, my camera wasn't working well because the lens had gotten so like fogged up internally
Wow.
from all the rain, and I thought I had ruined it. But luckily enough, once it dried up, it was fine. But yeah, we went to the park, and it was like a monsoon. But the Velocicoaster is ready, man. The Velocicoaster is ready to open up. I'm predicting May is going to be the opening. It's going to be
Yeah,
soon.
I would assume they've because I know Chris Pratt's gonna have a lot of stuff to do with that ride, so I'm going to assume that they filmed a lot of his stuff during the production of Jurassic World 3 just to get it out of the way. That way they had that, and then they're probably just honestly working on the footage for that because it looks like the ride is ready to go. I see test running all the time from different accounts all over.
Yeah.
So I honestly think the only things they're working on is just the post production for the video stuff that Chris Pratt's gonna be in, and maybe audio stuff and maybe animatronics, and that's about it.
Yeah, they've already had people on the ride, and that's been filmed too
Right.
by some other vloggers. So, yeah, for sure, the ride is damn near ready. But I don't think Universal is going to open it up till they believe it's 100% ready
Right.
and the timing's right. Obviously, with everything that's been going on with the pandemic and everything, timing's going to mean a lot. So they want to make sure that not only do they, and this is just my opinion, obviously, but they want to make sure that it not only opens up and is running well, but it's accessible to more people. So, the better the situation gets, the more likely they are to open it. And I think May time may be a really good time. A lot more people vaccinated. So means just a lot more people more comfortable being outside and a lot more people able to enjoy it.
Right. So yeah. In other words, go check out Eddie's channel for all the fun vlogs and everything coming out, which are probably
Yeah.
already most of them are probably already out because we recorded this like last week or whatever. Whenever this is
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So
So
whenever we release this,
it's
you,
gonna be.
you
I'm gonna
may,
make it quick because I want to release 2 videos on Booze Bros. As of this recording, you guys are watching this week, but as of this recording next week, which would be this, and then something that we announced today. I announced today that I've been getting a lot of backlash from the other bros from, but yeah, Booze Bros podcast finally it's been in the talks for a long time, and we're finally gonna get the ball rolling on that. We're recording it tomorrow, first episode, which it will be for you guys later out later. I can't talk today. It will be out later this week. First episode, I can tell you, will feature myself. Eddie will be on the first episode with my co-host Losh TV as well, and Connor from Connor, Florida. That will be the first episode, and then every episode out of that will have rotating Booze Bros, but Losh or myself will be hosting every episode. That way we have that. Either we'll both be there, Losh will just be there, I'll just be there, so you never know what you're going to get with that podcast. It could be same rotation as the week before or a completely different rotation. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, man, it's been kind of quiet down here, as you know. We're a lot more strict. Stricter is not really a word, huh? We're a lot more strict down here because of guidelines and stuff with COVID. But I had a fucking phenomenal haunt season. In my eyes, I thought it was a fun haunt season.
yeah, you did.
And it was just a lot of home haunts, a lot of drive-through haunts, which were really cool. drive up haunts, which were kind of like drive-in style haunts, which was really cool. I think the best one that took it out of all of them was probably Stranger Things, the drive-in
Yeah, I was about to
experience.
say that crazy Stranger Things experience. That wasn't even a haunt. That was an experience.
That put you right into the damn show. That's what that
Yeah.
was. But
And
I mean, it made up for Stranger Things season 2. So
yeah, and you know what? Watching your vlog, which by the way, if you guys haven't already, go watch it. It was so cool, but I could tell that I was missing out on so much
oh,
watching it. Like I could tell if you were in the moment there, it was just like astronomically better.
they had a no film strict policy once you actually got into the experience, just to kind of they want you to really come and experience it, which I think even if I were to film it, and there's probably footage out there, but I was just respecting their rules because I'm a good guy like that. But even if you were to film it, it doesn't compare to the experience that you pay for and go see in person. Like, I honestly thought about going back a second time, but I just didn't
Yeah.
have the money for it. But it for those who got to experience it in Los Angeles, I know it only has, I think, a few more weeks left until it packs up and moves somewhere else. But for those who got to experience it, man, it was definitely an experience. It was fun. Um, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, you're gonna love it. They cover a lot in this, and even the pre-show. That's a lot of what I filmed. The pre-show when you're out
Yeah.
there kind of waiting, which was really cool. The whole Hawkins high school reunion. You know, you have the characters from the show walking around. You have like people that are dressed up in like Scoops Ahoy, you know, in '80s attire. You know, they have people serving you food, snacks and stuff, so you can take inside the experience. And then afterwards, you can buy merch and stuff. But it really clears up a lot of things from season 3 that, you know, a lot of people had questions about, especially of what happened to Hopper and how he got to where he was, and how we're going to see him in season 4 with him being in Russia, which was really damn cool. But
Wait, it explained that?
yeah, they actually explained that, so that was really cool. Like,
That's
I was like, because I was one of those guys like, how the fuck did he end up in Russia? Like, the guy was underground in Hawkins, and then he ends up in Russia. Like, what happened? So they kind of explain it at the end. Like, if you really pay attention at the end, they show him. I'll spoil it. So if you guys are gonna go, or if you
that's
guys don't
some
want to know,
BS.
anyway,
You got the inside scoop. That's some BS right
yeah, I
there.
mean, you really had to go to see that, and I don't think a lot of people talked about that. But if you actually went to the experience, like at the end, they show Hopper being like kind of carried out by 2 Russians, and he goes into like this van, and they drive away to like the airport. So basically, the Russians got their hands on him after the events of season 3, and then afterwards, as you're driving down like to the exit, you actually see that van parked. So like it's really cool that it kind of tied in. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it was a little. I mean, for fans of the show who really wanted to know what happened to Hopper and how he got out of that situation, like, it was kind of a good, like, oh, this is what happened. And being the Duffer Brothers that were heavily involved with this production, it's canon, so you know it
Yeah.
works. Um,
It's Stranger Things is funny to me because I'm not a huge fan of the show. I really
really,
am not. But I find myself having to watch every season because it goes to Halloween Horror Nights.
yeah,
And I always, and a lot of people that go to Halloween Horror Nights do their traditional watch all the IPs in advance,
right.
and that's Stranger Things for me. But that last season, although I don't think everybody agrees with me, I thought that last season was by far the best. The first two, it was almost like Harry Potter esque, where the first couple seasons are too kiddie, and then they're grown up in the third, and you kind of get that more mature approach, which I thought was pretty cool. And by the way, if you keep on seeing me look down, it's because Anthony's down here on
That
my laptop screen, and my
okay. I'm glad you said
camera's
the
up here.
laptop because I didn't want to be down there. But no, I think majority of the fan base agrees with you that season 3 was probably the best season they've produced thus far. And I'm hearing news about season 4 about how it's supposed to be like the darkest season yet, and it's gonna be like a really scary season, and like I'm super stoked for that. So, and I know they had to stop filming during the pandemic, and they just picked up filming again, and I think they're coming close to ending filming, so we should see that coming potentially late summer. I would say they're probably gonna go for a Halloween release date this year, though, if all things go right.
Means no Halloween Horror Nights this year. Or
Yeah,
at least they won't be at Halloween Horror Nights this year.
yeah, we'll see what happens with Horror Nights this year. I mean, I'm still kind of on the road of we're gonna get a lot of the same stuff back,
Hmm.
at least over here, because of the whole fact that we didn't get to use it in 2020. But I know you guys got to use at least three of your properties, which I believe I would say one of those, because it was only for a weekend, might return for people who didn't get to see it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I would say your Universal Monsters will be different, and I don't think there will be a Tooth Fairy.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think we may both see some change for the sake of continuity, even though you guys didn't use it. But I think if Orlando makes significant changes, Hollywood may follow along, because commercials as of late have been identical commercials. You guys get the same commercial that we do. And if they decide to do that again, then that means that you guys have to follow some of our IPs. Or not that you have to follow, but we'll have to share IPs. So at least from an IP standpoint, I think those are all up in the air.
Right.
And then except for obviously Beetlejuice, I think Beetlejuice was shown last year to kind of test the water and get everybody kind of not just test the water, but get everybody kind of excited about a potential IP, and that being Beetlejuice.
Right.
And I think the hype and the crowds were behind it, so they know that bringing it back is gonna be, they're gonna reap the reward of it. So Beetlejuice, I think, is probably the only thing that I could put my thumb on and say for sure I would think is coming back. Aside from that, we're going to see a lot of changes, but I think those changes may be both sides.
I think with Orlando, because they're good with originals, so like you wouldn't have to change those too much. I think, like, since it is going to be the official 30th anniversary, I think the rumored anniversary house will be there potentially. And this is all speculation. This is not, we don't know anything. We're just going based off HN Nightmares speculation map, which is basically what I'm going off. I don't know about you, but I'm going off that.
Yeah.
But I think Anniversary House will return. And anything to do with anything of an anniversary, I think will return. Because that was already set in stone. Like, okay, this is the big 30. Like, we want to really showcase and tribute all the icons that we've used in the years. Or at least a lot of the most popular icons. So I can see a lot of like the anniversary, anniversary stuff coming back. I don't know about, because they did leak that documentary about what was it? It was like a puppet maze, right?
Yeah, it's what was it? Puppet Theater.
That is on the fence. Now, I don't know if it would come back, only because of that leak, but it could still be hyping people to actually want to see it. So they might throw it out there, just be like, oh, you saw the behind the scenes of it. Now this is what it looks like with the lights off and you actually walking through it. So that's a 50-50 right there. Like, it could come back, but at the same time, with that leak, don't know if it would come back.
Well, actually, now that you mentioned that, I think that and Beetlejuice are probably the highest likelihood of returning, because it was Puppet Theater, yeah. I can't remember the full name, but Puppet Theater was announced. It was on Peacock, and it was said to be the first house announcement of 2021, which, by the way, is the earliest house announcement we've ever had.
That was like during season.
Yeah, we had it while 29.5 was going on.
Yeah.
And it was accidentally leaked or purposely leaked, whatever, but it eventually came out on Peacock. So I think that one's pretty solid, I would say, in my opinion. I think when you said that Monsters may not return and Tooth Fairy may not return, I think you're pretty spot on that. And if Monster does return, it's not going to be Brides again.
I think if they want to stick, like you said, with commercialing and stuff, how we always have the same commercials to promote the event. If they want to stick with the whole Brides thing, I think personally Orlando would have to come up with a whole new thing, or just because they already probably filmed these commercials, they would only have to go in and tweak them. They would bring it back. But I don't know. I don't know how it really works over there. I don't know, especially because this was a different year compared to other years. Like, obviously, we can tell if something's popular enough, yes, it's going to come back. Like Stranger Things example was popular. Killer Clowns got a scare zone and then it got a maze. Kind of came back in a way. But this was an interesting year. They opened 2 mazes because I think they really felt bad for the general public as to listen, we were okay to do an event, we were okay to open our parks, and it's not fair to you guys that you guys didn't get somewhat of an HHN. So we're gonna shoot you guys these mazes. That way, you guys can still experience something. Which that's how I kind of looked at it. Was like, let's still give them something. That way, they still have that Halloween vibe to them, which I think
Yeah.
was a really, really smart move on their part. But I don't know. It's kind of up in the air with how Universal Monsters would work, because I know that, of course, we got it first, and then I guess our park, usually it's the other way around, but our park was like the test run on that, and then it went to you guys,
Yeah.
while we got something else, and then this year would have been the first year that they would have probably been the same. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one. Um, but a good likelihood that that one may not return at all.
right.
But if it does return, it would be. I would say it's monsters in a different way. So maybe even like something that actually finally shows, or not shows, but finally like gives, um, what's it called, creature, a big stage,
Yeah.
something like that. Some type of change where it's still classic monsters, but in a different presentation. But
The only way I could see now, I know we've had this conversation in the past too. I think the only way, now that I'm thinking about it, the only way I can see them changing up mazes, or, more mazes as far as Universal going a whole different route with it, is if we don't have an event at all and they greenlight, okay, we're doing an event, regardless if Hollywood's not or is or not. I could see them coming out with a lot of new shit.
yeah. Wait, well, you got to think about it this way too. The two houses that did come out already had a pretty decent run,
Right.
and a good amount of people already got to see them. So they, to some
I mean,
extent,
and I can say this: Tooth Fairy for sure isn't coming back.
yeah,
I would think so.
to some extent, those two houses got milked for what they were worth.
Right.
Um, Other houses, and in a lot of cases, just like they've done before, like houses like Scream and stuff like that, just mask them up in a different concept.
Right.
But people are going to walk through it and still be able to tell that it's the same house. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. One thing I can say though is I think the likelihood of this year. I know optimism killed us last year because we were so optimistic,
Right.
to the bitter end. But this time around, things are different. We've already experienced. We've gone through a whole year of this,
It's
and
almost, yeah.
yeah, and one thing I can say, at least for Florida, it's unfortunate in California how it's gone down. But at least for Florida, they have not let this hold them back.
Yeah.
On Saturday when I was at the park, it hit capacity, and it's hit capacity several times. And when I say hit capacity, that's only a thing because Universal chooses to make it a thing. Florida has already said that the parks could run at 100%. Um, so once they put proof to concept of their like safety procedures,
Mm-hmm.
I think by October time that that concept could be so strong that they could say, all right, we're gonna lift the limitations 100% and go back to our regular style event. And to be honest, on Saturday it felt like a Halloween Horror Nights night.
Yeah. And
That's all.
and that's why I was bringing up, like, it's more likely that Florida will probably have an event compared to Hollywood. I mean, Mardi has come out on Twitter and said he's been furloughed right now. I mean, he still is employed by
Did he say
Universal.
that?
Yeah, he came out on his personal Twitter and said that he's been furloughed. But I mean, he's still employed by them, but they're not paying him at the moment. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he's
Uh,
furloughed at the moment.
yeah.
So
So I was furloughed, so I have a little bit of insight on what that is like. I was furloughed a little bit at the beginning of the pandemic for 5 weeks,
right,
and I wasn't paid by my company. I could request unemployment, but my company was still paying for my health benefits and saying
interesting.
that my position was still existed. They just weren't compensating me during this period of time of
Right.
furlough.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's real interesting. I mean, it's a good sign that Universal is doing what it has to keep them on board.
Right.
Um, but obviously, I mean, I completely understand they've been closed now for God knows how long. they could only like
It's
pay
going
people.
about on a year actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Well, at least City Walk's been keeping them busy, at least for the time being.
Any word of when you guys are going to open back up?
No,
It's crazy.
I mean, I heard my buddy was telling me today that there's talks of them potentially opening up movie theaters again, but I don't know where that lands in my area, and if it's all of California or if that was a worldwide thing. But yeah, it's really hard to. That's why, and I'm gonna come out and say that that's why it's taking us so long to make an East versus West, because it's really hard to predict and talk about what's gonna happen over here on the West Coast. And I mean, obviously, Eddie keeps you guys informed with East Coast stuff. And so that's why I was kind of leaving, like, do your content for now. I mean, until I come up with something for East versus West, just do you. And he's been fucking killing the game lately. But I feel like I'm trying to come up with episodes, even if we have to go back to doing coast comparison for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
I think my biggest topic for this episode, the biggest news that I really wanted to talk to you about, because I wanted to pick your brain about it, which it's gonna transition into our next topic, which finally I'm getting a Howl-O-Scream.
Hey.
So obviously, if you guys have been watching East versus West from the start, one of the things me and Eddie love doing every haunt season is before the season starts, we like to break down everything that's come out and build a hype list around that. And then after season ends, we like to, after we go at least once or twice, we like to officially break it down, what we thought of the event overall, and re-rank our mazes as to what we did going in blind. Last year, no, 2019 was the first year we ever did it with Not Scary Farm and Howl-O-Scream.
Yep.
Because Not Scary Farm was the closest to Howl-O-Scream that I had to compare to. This year, if it does, everything goes well, SeaWorld San Diego will be doing their own version of Howl-O-Scream. So this year, on top of Knott's, I can compare Howl-O-Scream as well.
Yeah, so we'll do our final thoughts of Halloween Horror Nights event per event, and we'll do our final thoughts of Howl-O-Scream event per event.
Yeah,
which would be pretty cool.
It would be cool, man. It will be
Yeah.
really cool. It was something that, if you guys, like I said, if you guys been watching East versus West since the beginning, Eddie talks about Howl-O-Scream a lot, and I've piqued interest in checking it out, specifically the one in Williamsburg.
We've interviewed some of the scare actors too.
We have interviewed a few scare actors on the show, and I'm super excited for this. Now, here's where the pick your brain starts happening. Being that this is a new event for us over here on the West Coast, do you think we'll be getting a lot of maze trading, as far as some stuff from your event might come to our event, will be new to us, or if we create originals that are for the event, it might eventually go to you?
I think given the scenario, you guys will probably get some originals without a doubt. I think with your event starting off, that's going to be an area of pride for them, right? To get some originals done. But also, given the scenario, it would only be smart for them to take some of the ideas from the other events, and it's not uncommon for Williamsburg to actually have props shipped over from Florida and us do the event or do a house that Florida did the year before.
Right.
So I don't see why it can't be a mixture of both. You guys probably get something that we've done in the past and also get a little bit of your own. But what I can say is you'll have a blast regardless, because SeaWorld, who owns Busch Gardens,
Right.
Does a pretty good job, and yours is going to actually be at SeaWorld, right?
I believe so, and that's what's kind of right now where I'm just like, okay, I've been to SeaWorld. It's been a long time since I've been to SeaWorld, but I have been to SeaWorld, and I'm trying to map out how they would do a haunt event and how many mazes they would have. I can see opening, they'd have about 5 to 6 maybe, just for their starting year.
Yeah, that's how much Williamsburg has now, and they've gone on 20 years.
Right.
So them having 10 houses like Universal Studios is probably unlikely for a bit,
right?
And mostly for an event that's starting off, because they don't know what the reception's going to be like the first year around. So for them, 4 to 6 houses is probably already a stretch if the return doesn't come back. So they need to be, I guess, conservative.
Right.
Um, but regardless, they're not events that have a ton of houses to begin with on either coast.
Right. Yeah,
It,
I'm just excited because I think the first time I saw the news, Scott broke the news to me actually. He was the
yeah,
one that shared it on his Instagram, and the first thing I thought of was you. I was like, okay, Howl-O-Scream, East versus West. Now we have another two identical things we can do a comparison on as to
yeah,
how did your event go, how did my event go, what did you like about your event, what did I like about my event. Let's rank our mazes. I mean, we already do it with Hornites and we have a blast doing that. We had a blast doing it with Howl-O-Scream and Not Scary Farm because at the time that was the closest comparison that we saw. They all did their own kind of original things and we can compare them and everything. Now we have two Howl-O-Screams, and I don't care if I have to drive 2 to 2.5 hours out there to do it. I will fucking do it. It's like if I can go for if I leave Thursday night, drive out to San Diego, stay Friday and Saturday, and come back Sunday morning, I will do it. Like if I can go to the event Friday and Saturday, like I will definitely do it. That way I have 2 visits. One visit where I can do all my filming, make sure I go through all the mazes, and the second visit to kind of just for myself. Just kind of no filming, just me experiencing everything. That way I can give as much details as possible for East versus West. So I'm super excited, man. And I know lately you've been getting a lot of attention with Busch Gardens. They like you. They keep inviting you back out, which is awesome. And I'm very happy for that right there because I'm hoping that I can build that relationship with SeaWorld. Even though I don't go there too much. I know Scott is like the SeaWorld god right now. So if I can get in cahoots with Scott, then maybe he can direct me to the right people. And I'm not saying that just to get free shit. Like, I will pay to go to a fucking event. I don't give a shit. It's more on a line of I want to get good footage for everyone so they can check it out and see what this event is about. Because my thing is I want this event to stay. And I want this event to do really good. And I want people to go to this event. So by filming for my channel for the people who live out where I live, it would drive eyes to like, oh, maybe I should take a trip out to San Diego and check it out. That's how I've always seen media is like, I don't give a shit about the free shit. It's nice, and I am thankful for it. But to me, it's always been about delivering content so people can take interest in the event and go and check it out.
Yeah, and shout out to Busch Gardens Williamsburg for the relationship that we've built as of recent. I mean, I really do appreciate it. And like you said, Anthony, I think that's exactly what when you reach out to them for access, I think that's exactly what you should say, man. Just say, hey, look, my idea is to bring you guys to my viewers' eyes, to better the event and help you guys out while helping myself out and helping my viewers out as well. Give them new content so they can view, but also putting extra eyes on your event type of thing.
Also, it gives me an excuse to go visit Scott. So,
hey, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a plus. Even if you had to go, I mean, for how long did I go to Busch Gardens without media, right?
Right.
It is what it is. No media didn't stop me from enjoying the event.
Oh yeah, he still kept going.
I didn't enjoy the event any less. So it is what it is. I think this is a good opportunity for you and a good opportunity for us as a creator team, East versus West. We'll have some new content for you guys, the viewers, to come check out. Right. I think for a while there, you guys were really enjoying the maze comparisons, and this is this could actually add a whole new level of maze comparison.
I know, definitely, especially because we were doing Hornites. Now we can do if Howl-O-Scream gets a lot of the same, and I'm gonna be talking with Eddie a lot, even off camera, as to hey, we're getting this over here. Did you guys have that? And if they did, boom, maze comparison episode for the off season right there. Yep. So I'm definitely excited. But with that being said, it's just like, where do we go from here? Well, I'll tell you exactly where we go from here. East versus West, and I know we say it a lot, but I can tell you right now, between me working full-time, me doing YouTube, me freaking being a part of 7 goddamn podcasts, Eddy working full time, Eddy doing YouTube. Congratulations to Eddy, by the way, just got engaged, and they're going to be moving into a house pretty soon. That's fucking awesome.
Next week, man.
For him starting his life, you know, like where he wants to be right now. We're gonna try to be as consistent as possible with this, especially because with Booze Bros, I want to start uploading more on this channel. I know it will be a lot of, you'll probably see a lot of my face with the podcast and with this one, but I want to try to get more content up there this year. That's definitely a goal. I mean, Launch did an amazing thing to start that channel, and I feel like we not, no disrespect to any of the people that are involved with the Booze Bros. We all have our own channels that we got to put content up and keeping the viewership going. But I feel like we've been neglecting this channel, and I think this channel needs some more love. So, Booze Bros podcast coming out, East versus West. We will be trying to release podcasts, if not every week, every other week. You know, something. You know, just to get the content flowing.
I mean, at the end of the day, the whole concept of the Boo Bros is for us to be able to feed off each other as creators, but also give you guys an avenue to actually see different varieties of creators. I mean, we got a ton that we're working with. So, you know, if you enjoy my content and you're looking for more content of the same, or you enjoy Anthony's content, you're looking for more content of the same, we're providing you with that content,
right?
And we're telling you openly, these other creators, go check them out. I love them all. They're all really cool guys. I've worked with Anthony virtually, but we've worked a lot together. I've probably worked with him more than any of the other creators, and I've actually met some of them in person.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've met in person, I've had a great time meeting. They're all cool people, great content. At the end of the day, I think that's what it comes down to. If they're cool people, cool content, you'll enjoy watching it if you enjoy watching my content. So why not share?
Eddy and myself have been working together. This will be the 3rd year this year.
I know, yeah.
It's been 3 long years since we've been working with each other. That's pretty much almost all of the start of my channel right there. Yeah. He first came on the Mindless 4 podcast, yep. And then I think he came back again, and then we started East versus West, and
yep.
It's only grown from there. Eddy, it's been a pleasure to watch you grow. I mean, you are growing quick, and your content quality, everything's getting better, man. So I'm happy to see all that, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for both of us, man. So stay tuned. We have more East versus West. This is kind of the catch-up of East versus West to see what everyone's been doing. We got to talk a little bit of Eddy's vacation. We got to talk a little bit of what I've been up to. Horror Nights, you know, what we're thinking for 2021. And we got to talk Howl-O-Scream for East versus West future videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned. The next episode is definitely going to be a coast comparison. I just got to figure out what. And then if any news drops, we'll be on it for East versus West. Either if it's on the East Coast or West Coast, we both have input for something. So.
Oh yeah, and technically, announcement season by your typical standards is around the corner.
Is around the corner. So if HHN Orlando is greenlit to go, we can be seeing a lot of announcements, and we can possibly see myself heading to the East Coast for the very first time.
Hey.
Because I need to fuck. I'm not missing HHN 30. I'll tell you that much right there. But with that being said, I'm Anthony from the Nights of Horror.
I'm Eddy from Eddytainment.
Hope you all been Eddytained today, and we will see you guys soon.
Deuces.